He's fractured into lots of pieces.
How in the world could they now get the 41 men out?
When the auger broke, everyone got very sad.
We'll take a short break and head back underground after this.
This is a wild urban fantasy set in something like present-day New York, but
I want to know if there was a specific experience that inspired you to write this book.
I started to notice that there were certain cities where I immediately felt at home and very comfortable, and certain cities where I walked out of the airport and instantly felt a sense of, oh, no, really just a sense of disquiet that I decided to mention. What's engaging you? I'm speaking to gentrification, things like the housing crisis. I was beginning to realize that it was not a natural phenomenon, it is a phenomenon that is being inflicted on us. And that was, again, really fictionalizing.
World Cinema. Today, that's about HBO.
In part 2 of Outlook, Arnold Dix is feeling the heat after crossing all 41 miles trapped underground in the Himalaya mountains would be saved 2 weeks in. Decided to put a hard hat to a very unusual deal.
Assault on public order. The mayor of LA, Karen Bass, has now announced a midnight curfew in the city centre. Meanwhile, President Trump has renewed his criticism of Europe's migration policy, saying that uncontrolled migration led to chaos and disorder, as he claimed is happening in many European countries. Argentina's Supreme Court has upheld the full conviction of the former President Cristina Kirchner, consolidates her 6-year prison sentence and a lifetime ban on holding public office. Top Chinese and US negotiators say they've agreed a framework on trade after 2 days of talks in London aimed at resolving tensions. China's international trade representative Li Chongban described the talks as rational and candid. Russian drone attacks on Ukraine's second-largest city, Kharkiv, have killed 2 people and injured more than 30 others. The city's mayor said the drones had sparked fires on multi-story buildings, industrial facilities and private homes. The US Secretary of State Marco Rubio has condemned the decision by Britain, Norway, Australia, Canada and New Zealand to sanction 2 far-right Israeli ministers. He said the move did not advance US-led efforts to achieve a ceasefire in Gaza. South Korea's hugely successful K-pop band BTS has taken another step closer to a much-anticipated reunion after 2 more members were discharged from mandatory military service. The Austrian city of Graz has held a candlelit vigil for the 10 people killed in a local school shooting. Police said the perpetrator was a 21-year-old who had acted alone before killing himself. BBC News.
Welcome back to Outlook. I'm Rachel Pigeonhead. Before the news, we left 41 miners trapped underground in the Himalayas of India, and a group of increasingly worried rescuers having to take them out, including Australian tunnel expert Arnold Dix. This was November 2024. The miners had been digging a road tunnel through the mountains when it collapsed. Early rescue efforts had failed, and Arnold had been asked to come and help out using his unusual collection of skills. He was head of the International Tunnelling Association at the time, also a barrister who could make sure the rescuers had a legal defence should things go wrong. As he says, rescues underground often do go wrong. It's incredibly dangerous work, and we should do it through. He's a welder too. He helped make the equipment for the unit. He's also an unbelievable optimist who made this promise on international TV. Arnold spoke to Outlook from the ABC
obviously just wanted to talk to people and make sure if something happened to me, the last impression was that I was just going to chill. What a terrible way to die after all this, like show in the ABC studio in Darwin. So, remembering no one because normally you don't talk about it. The only reason anyone knows about this is because it ended up being publicised live to 1.4 billion people for 24 hours a day for a couple of weeks. And so this one suddenly I became a public figure, but normally no one knows what I do and I just skulk home and don't really say much.
You really have become the face of this operation. Why do you think that happens?
I think because I genuinely believed we were going to be able to do it. I wasn't meant to be the face of it at all. Like, I had no job description, I didn't have a contract. But the journalists just seemed to love talking to me. So they would like hide in trees, behind rocks, behind a car or something. I'd just be wandering along doing my job. And then the journalists would pop out and do these live interviews.
I did see one interview where the reporter basically started slipping away from you. I don't know what he was falling down, but he was disappearing. You had to grab him. He was falling down.
Yeah, he fell down a cliff. Yeah, it was a cliff.
How long will it take for the rescuers to safely rescue
Before I rescue you, I've got your arm. Yeah, I've got your hand. That guy, he was so intent on doing an interview that he forgot that he's standing at the top of a cliff. And then he slipped backwards and then all the rocks gave way under him. You right? Yeah, okay, this is good. This is, yeah, so how long? But he didn't even stop for a breath. And I'm holding his arm. Yeah, he just kept on asking questions. Yeah, so I've got you. I'm like, mate, you're nearly dead. Like, I'm holding on to you, you're going to fall off the cliff. That was all the time.
The media were tracking Arnold's every move, but 2 weeks in, he had no good news for them. The rock was too soft and kept collapsing. Time was running out. The rescuers were taking lots of different approaches to get to where the men were, and were getting closer, but the final few meters were proving very difficult.
We had multiple concurrent activities, and we divided ourselves up into different groups. So the main method that we were putting our hopes on was the auger. And the auger has two parts. One part is a big machine that's attached to the mountain itself that pushes, I mean, when I say push, I'm talking 70 tons of pushing a pipe into rock. And then inside that pipe, we have an auger that spins and it drags the rock out like a big sausage mixer or something. And then the auger itself blew up. When I say blew up, it fractured into lots of pieces.
So it literally exploded?
Well, yeah, it blew up. I mean, it ripped itself out of the ground and blew up its clutch. A little bit of an explosion, like a bang, because the rock, they have things called rock bolts, and you drive them into the mountain and attach the machine to the mountain, to the rock, and they actually broke. And so the auger machine itself was no longer properly attached to the rock or the mountain, and the machine itself broke.
Now what? I mean, you must be running out of options.
Yeah, when the auger broke, everyone got very sad, and that's the point where the media turned on me. The drilling, the augering has stopped. I am confident 41 men are coming home. By Christmas. Yeah, by Christmas. I said, no, I promise. So I've always promised to take it home by Christmas. And if we rush, we can cause another problem here. The media turned on me and they accusing me of not telling the truth. You've been telling us everything's going to be fine, it's not. And so they're really ripping to me. And so I thought, what am I going to do? And then I had a bright idea. I was up on top of the mountain one night, and then I got this idea. I would swap my hat, because my construction hat was white, which is a management